Dear students, welcome back to the zoology lecture module. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is going to be our lecture number 7. So this is the 7th lecture pertaining to animal kingdom. In this lecture, we'll focus on another system based on which you will see variety of animals. Now the system which we are going to talk about in this module is, first of all, the nervous system. Remember that we have already seen variety or diversity of animals based on, the digestive system. Let me quote here, digestive system. We have seen variety of animals based on their respiratory system. We have seen variety of animals based on their circulatory system. We have seen variety of animals based on their excretory system. So till this point, till this lecture, we have already discussed this system, this system, this system, and this system. Now, today we are going to focus on the 5th organ system, that is nervous system. So my dear students, you will have animals with variety of nervous systems. So you will have simpler animals with simpler form of nervous system. As you move towards the complex forms of the life, as you move towards the complex living organisms or animals, you'll see the variety or the variation in their nervous system. Now, what basically is nervous system that is known to you people? Nervous system is basically the system which is responsible for control and coordination. So in an animal, you see that there is proper control of the activities or the organ functions, and the functions which are performed by different tissues and organs. There's a proper sort of coordination between one organ system and another organ system. So that system of control and coordination is because of the nervous system. Now, different animals have different types of nervous systems. The simplest form of nervous system is the diffused type. So you will have the types of the nervous system here. So let us have an idea about the types of nervous systems. So we'll see variety of types of nervous systems. The first type of nervous system is the basic, that's the diffused type of nervous system. So you'll see diffused type of nervous system. In this case, you will see that there'll be these cells. There will be neurons or neuron-like cells, but they will be scattered. They'll be scattered in the body of the organisms. So you will see here, let me write down, you will see scattered cells within the body, which will help in conduction of impulses. So you will see scattered cells in the body of the organism, and these cells will be performing the job of conducting the impulses. So impulses here is basically the information which you want to carry from one region to other region of the body. So those impulses are carried with the help of scattered cells, and this type of nervous system is called diffused type of nervous system. This nervous system you will be able to see in lower forms of the animals, like if you will look at the coelentrates like your Hydra. In Hydra or in coelentrates, you will see diffused type of nervous system, very basic, very simple. Okay, the other type of nervous system is a bit advanced than diffuse type of nervous system. That's called ladder type. That's called ladder type or ladder like nervous system. So you'll see this ladder like, let me write down NS. NS is an indication of nervous system. So ladder like nervous system, in this case, you will see that now the neurons or the nerve cells, you will see them arranged in the form of a ladder, and now you have this nervous system, these neurons aggregated in the form of a ladder. Now you see a proper aggregation of neurons, but it's not absolutely going to have a brain or a spinal cord like structure, but there will be these ladders. That's why we call it ladder like nervous system. You'll be able to find this ladder like nervous system in case of animals like your flatworms and roundworms. So I'll write down here your flatworms, the group which we will call platyhelminths, these, and your roundworms, that is your escalments, they will have this ladder type of nervous system. Okay, another type of nervous system, now it's going to be complex more, that you will find in higher forms, like you will find that in mollusks. In them you will see ganglions, and you will see the proper nerves now. So there will be now an aggregation of the neurons which will form the ganglia, and you will see these nerves in the body. Ganglion and nerves, they form the nervous system of, these form the nervous system of your mollusks. Okay, moving ahead, if we'll see the higher forms, in them you will see that there will be two nerve rings in the body. So you'll now see more complexity in nervous system. You will now be able to see two nerve rings. So there will be the nerves now in the ring form, and you will find such two nerve rings. One of the nerve ring will be present on the upper side of the body, and another will be present on the lower side of the body. So you will call those surfaces oral and aboral surfaces. So you will find one nerve ring towards the oral surface of the body, and another oral ring, the nerve ring, you will find on the aboral surface of the body, the lower surface of the body. So you've got to remember the surfaces also. So one towards the upper surface of the body, one towards the lower surface of the body, what we call oral surface and aboral surface. You will find two nerve rings in these surfaces of the body. So comparatively complex than the upper three categories, and you will find this nervous system, you'll be able to find this in echinoderms, like your starfishes. You'll be able to find uh, in them this type of nervous system, which is in which you will find out two nerve rings in the body. Further ahead, you will find the higher organisms having a proper central nervous system and a proper peripheral nervous system. By central nervous system, I mean you will find in them brain. Now you see the aggregation of neurons in brain, and you will find in them the structure called spinal cord. So you'll find first of all this nervous system, that is called the central nervous system of the body. So these organisms will have something like this. They'll have this brain and aggregation of the neurons, okay? And from brain, what will arise in them is a proper spinal cord. So this here represents the spinal cord. So they will have this brain and spinal cord, which will form their central nervous system. And from this central nervous system, what will you see arising are the nerves. So these are the nerves which are coming from the brain and which are coming from the spinal cord. These nerves will further branch. They will further branch. And this system of the nerves, this will be given the name peripheral nervous system. So what comes in peripheral nervous system are basically the nerves arising from brain and spinal cord. So you will see such a type of advanced system, such a type of advanced nervous system, whereby you have the nervous system divided into two parts. You'll be able to find out a proper central nervous system and a peripheral nervous system, where you will find the structures like, you will find the structure like the brain, and you will find the structure like this cord, this is spinal cord, okay? These two structures will form the central nervous system, and the nerves which will arise from these two structures, they will form the peripheral nervous system. So such a type of nervous system is the most advanced type of nervous system, and this type of nervous system you will find absolutely in your vertebrates. So this you will find in vertebrates. That means in your reptiles, in your amphibians, in your birds, and in mammals. That means humans also. So all of these animals will have, what we call all these classes, we call these classes vertebrates, okay? All of them are involved in vertebrates. So vertebrates have this type of nervous system. So if you go back, if you travel in backward direction, the simpler forms will have two nerve rings. If you'll go further to the simpler forms, you'll find the ganglion and the nerves. If you'll go further back, you'll find the simple ladder-like nervous system. If you'll go further behind, you will find out just some, conducting cells which will carry the impulses from one region to other region. You will find such cells diffused in the body. You call it diffused nervous system. So you have variety of animals. You have diversity of animals based on their nervous system. Okay, dear students. Now let us analyze another system that's called the skeletal system. So skeletal system is going to be our sixth organ system, which we'll understand. Okay, skeletal system. Skeletal system. So you know what is skeletal system? It is that system of the body which is providing you support. It's that system of the body which is providing framework to the body. Okay, so this system provides, here what comes in our mind are bones. So what is bones? What is skeleton going to do? That's going to provide support, first of all, and shape what we can call framework. So skeletal system provides support and framework to the body. Now, different animals have different types of skeletal systems. Again, you have variety. Again, you have diversity based on now which system? The skeletal system the animal possesses. Okay. Now, if the skeletal system is present outside the body, if it's present outside, let me say, first of all, if it's present inside the body, because that's very simple. So if, what is SS skeletal system? If SS is present inside body, or you have second case where you will see that if this skeletal system is present outside body, I mean to say on the body, outside, on the surface, outside body, then you have the different terms. This system, you will call it the endoskeleton, because this is present inside the body. You will call it endoskeleton. And this skeletal system, which is present outside the body for protection, obviously, you will call it exoskeleton. Clear? So you have two skeletal systems, endoskeleton and exoskeleton. Now, once we talk about endoskeleton, we are talking about bones and we're talking about cartilages. Okay, bony bones will obviously form the bony endoskeleton, and cartilages will form the cartilaginous endo. So this is endoskeleton. Okay. Now, bony endoskeleton, you will find bony endoskeleton where the skeleton is made up of the bones. You'll find this in whom? You'll find this system in most of the vertebrates. So most vertebrates have bony endoskeleton, even humans. Okay, vertebrates, most vertebrates. Whereas if you talk about cartilaginous fishes, if you talk about cartilaginous fishes, they have cartilaginous endoskeleton. And my dear students, you have to remember that during embryonic development, most vertebrates have bony skeleton, but at the adult stage. During embryonic stages, you have embryonic skeleton. And embryonic skeleton is not made up of bones, it's made up of cartilages. So you have to remember that cartilaginous endoskeleton is present in cartilaginous fishes, yes, but you will find this in, vertebrates also, but at which stage? In embryonic stage, because embryonic level skeletal is cartilaginous skeleton. Okay. Now, my dear students, there are some other endoskeleton structures, like if you look at sponges. In sponges, that means in poriferans, okay, you will find another type of skeletal structure that's called spicules. Where do you find these spicules? They are spiny structures, spiny, that's why you call them spicules. Where you will find these spicules? You'll find spicules exclusively in sponges. They are present in sponges. Once I say sponges, I mean I'm referring to the poriferans. Okay. Now these spicules are of two types. They are of two types. Spicules are of two types. What are the two types of spicules? One type of spicule is made up of calcium. So you have one spicule which is made up of calcium. You have other type of spicules which is made up of silica. So based on their composition, you have spicules made up of calcium, you have spicules made up of silica. Now calcium containing spicules, you will call these spicules, which are made up of calcium rather, you will call them calcareous spicules. And silica containing spicules, silica containing spiny structures, they are called siliceous. Siliceous spicules. You'll find both calcareous spicules and siliceous spicules. You'll find these spicules in whom? You will find these spicules in sponges, which we also call poriferans. Where will you find these spicules? Basically, you will find these spicules, you will find them present between the outer and the inner layer of the body. These spicules are present. Where are they present? They are present between inner and outer layer of body. You have to remember one fact, that sponges are very simple organisms, very basic organisms, the most lower form of organisms, and their body is just made up of layers, two layers. You have an internal layer and an outer layer. So between the outer layer and the inner layer, say for example, this is the outer layer of the body, this is the inner layer of the body. Between this outer and inner layer, you will find these spiny structures, and these spiny structures are basically the spicules. Now these spiny spicules could be calcium based or they could be silica based. So they could be calcareous spicules or siliceous spicules. You often find them present between inner and outer surface of the body. So these were some of the examples of your endoskeleton. So endoskeleton could be bony, it could be cartilaginous, or it could be the third type, which is made up of the spicules. Now, if we look at the exoskeleton, if we try and understand about exoskeleton, we'll see that you will find a variety of exoskeleton as far as the vertebrates are concerned. Let us see exoskeleton in case of vertebrates. Let us put into consideration exoskeleton of vertebrates. So vertebrates, that means your reptiles, birds, amphibians, and mammals, they have different types of exoskeleton structures. Like you will find nails. Nails. You find your nails are present in your body also. So nails are basically the exoskeleton of whom? Exoskeleton of lizards and mammals. So they have nails as a form of exoskeleton. Similarly, you can see feathers. Feather is the most easy example. Feathers. Feathers are the exoskeletal structure of whom? Obviously, that are the exoskeleton of birds. The functions are different. There are different functions. Feathers have the function of flying. They are responsible for keeping the temperature of the body normal, because it actually acts as an insulator for the body. Nails are responsible for defense. They help in defending the body. So functions will be different, but here we are analyzing that they are present outside. They are skeletal structures, hard structures for protection. That's why we call it exoskeleton. You will find obviously hair. Hair is present on the body of mammals. Again, an exoskeletal structure. Let me write down mammals over here. Similarly, you will find horns. So animals have horns. So horns are also present in animals. Claws are present in animals. Again, the example for exoskeleton. Okay. And one more easy example is that of the scales. Let me give you one more example. One more example is that of scales. Scales are present on the body of fishes, you know. Fishes have on their body scales. So scales will also come under exoskeleton. Not only fishes, even your reptiles also have scales on their body. So these are the different types of exoskeleton which you will find in different vertebrates. So here we analyze that animals are of diverse nature. Animals are of different types based on the skeleton, based on the skeletal system they have. Okay, so we saw some of the animals with the very bony endoskeleton, some of the animals with cartilaginous endoskeleton, some of the animals with spicules like endoskeleton. Okay, and we saw exoskeleton, where we understood about the exoskeleton of vertebrates. We saw vertebrates have nails, feathers, hairs, claws, horns, scales. If you think about tortoise, if you think about tortoise, which is again a vertebrate, a tortoise has a carapace, a very hard shell on the upper surface of the body, which protects the tortoise. That hard shell, that's called carapace. That carapace protects the body of a tortoise. So carapace is also an example of an exoskeleton. Let me write down over here. So I will use this space to write down carapace. Carapace of whom? Carapace of tortoise is again a exoskeletal structure. Okay. Now, moving further ahead, what we can now analyze is the reproduction. If we look at the reproduction, we have seen that, or we know from lower classes, that animals broadly perform two modes of reproduction. So animals have two modes of reproduction. One mode is called the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. So you have now animals differing in modes of reproduction. And you see another mode is sexual reproduction. In case of asexual reproduction, what we know from basic classes is that here animals will perform reproduction, or animals will give birth to the offsprings. So animals will give birth to the offsprings. So here you have offsprings formed, but you have only one parent involved in this type of reproduction. But here you have two parents involved in sexual mode of reproduction. So here you will be talking about a male parent, and you should have a female parent. So a male and a female animal is required for sexual mode of reproduction. But there are some animals which can perform asexual mode of reproduction. That means only one parent is involved. You are not bothered about whether the parent is male or female. If one parent is there and that will perform the reproduction, that's called asexual mode of reproduction. And in this case, what comes to our mind is the process like fission, which is shown by lower organisms like your amoeba or your paramecium or your iglena. They perform simple processes like these simple animals, which are unicellular animals. They perform simple processes like fission, where they break into two cells. Fission simply means splitting. So an organism will split into two cells. An organism will split into two organisms. Or you will see the process of budding taking place. So you know that there are some organisms like your Hydra. It can go for budding, no male and female required. Just you have a Hydra over here. This is the parent Hydra's body. Okay, this is its mouth and these are the tentacles. You will see that a mass of cells will appear on its body. Okay, and this mass of cell which appears on this body is called bud. And you will see slowly and steadily this bud will also develop its mouth, and it will also develop its tentacles, and then it will detach from the parent Hydra and it will live independently. So this is the method which is called what? So this is the new Hydra. This is the offspring which is given by the parent. So this was the parent and this is the offspring. This is the new individual which is formed. But the process is very simple. You just require one Hydra for this process. This is budding. Okay, and there are some animals which will make spores. So some can opt for what? Some can opt for spore formation. So you have some animals which can go with spore formation. Okay, some of the animals will prefer and they will make spores, but these are very rare as far as animals are concerned. You will see rarely lower organisms performing what? Asexual reproduction. But yes, animals can also perform asexual reproduction rarely. The most common one is which? Sexual mode of reproduction. This is more common in case of animals. So animals predominantly show which mode of reproduction? Asexual mode of reproduction. Now, what are the different types of sexual mode of reproduction? What are the different types of sexual mode of reproduction? That we will analyze in next lecture. Till then, take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.